Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Schmodown Night in Canada. We've got a great week of matches to talk about, but let's introduce the crew first. As usual, Friendly Neighborhood Soda here, joined once again by Taco, our latest member of the Schmoes of the North, and Daniel. How are you guys doing?
Fantastic. Just here to talk Schmodown and drink beer, and I'm all out of Schmodown.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on the rum and coke train myself for these shows now.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's it going, Daniel?
Not bad, not bad. It's been a little while. I've been kind of out of it, and it's been tough even like keeping up with all the matches in the week, let alone like getting people together for the reaction afterwards. It's a tough schedule to work.
Yeah, and then on top of that, they throw in the first class league, and you're like, dear Lord, Carlos, really trying to kill us.
I can't lie. I did the first episode, and it's not that I don't want to. I haven't had a chance yet. I had to prioritize Schmodown we're going to talk about, so I had to watch that. And I'm like, I'll watch that second episode. I will.
Or that second I made a decision. I'm actually, just because I don't have much time with all the shit I do, I'm just gonna, unless something big happens, I'm not gonna watch. I don't have time to watch it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the first match. Yeah. So
yeah, I heard it was a good match. But we will be having a show that will be covering the first class league coming up soon. I don't know if it's started or not, but definitely keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So, but anyways, we had three great matches this week in three different divisions, which I liked. We had the rookie matchup of Paige Frabetti versus Peggy Gubbins in the singles match, and then we had the former Star Wars champ Alex Damon versus the Barbarian in Inner Geekdom, and then we had the return of teams with a number one contenders match with Shazam and Final Exam. What do you guys think of the weekend matches?
Well, Boston Badass is awesome. And I mean, just as a whole, it was a really good week. A lot of comebacks, man. A lot of, yes. I thought the match was going to go one way, and then it went the other way, and a lot of really big third rounds. And yeah, it was a good week.
Yeah, 100%. What about you, Daniel? What did you think of the weekend matches?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit. It was a little bit more. It was a little bit more the week of the second round, in my opinion. Like you had especially the second two matches. The rookie match was like it was more decided in the third round, but. Then you had the other two with like the IG, the big swing in that match, and then you had like the spectacular teams. Oh my god! Like I'm really excited to break that down later, but we should start with the rookies.
Yeah, let's hop right into it.
Yeah, I was really impressed with both of them. Like I think both of them are. Like knew what they were getting into, and where like their slip ups were comes from, the inexperience and the first time doing it all. And I think both of these competitors are ones to look out for if there's like a sort of like, well, one of them, Peggy, like her second match is going to be even stronger. Her third match is going to be stronger than that. And as for
Paige is going to come back strong as well. Like, I mean, that's the thing. They both felt right at home, and they both played excellent.
Mm-hmm.
My only like concern is with how big the league is, of how many people who've had who have a 0-1 record who actually get another shot outside of maybe a tournament, and that would be up to their managers. I really hope we have chances, because we have had a lot of these brand new rookies or whatever who are 0-1 or just came in and they're starting on a loss, who do look really promising in all multiple leagues. So I hope that they have a chance to get, because Paige was really great. Her mic skills were awesome.
For sure.
Yeah, and I drafted her like 3 days before, like that Saturday, because no one had her. And I was cheering for her, knew nothing. I didn't watch the fan leagues. I don't know anything about Peggy. And then Peggy Gubbins' freaking pre-match and I'm like crying, and I'm like, oh my god. And now I'm like, well, now I want to root for Peggy, but I have Paige. So
yeah, I do want to say I made that Charlotte Flair comparison months before Jen Sturger on Northern Consultations, so I got that claim to fame.
Also, like that is one of the best stories, and like it made me cry, and I knew it was coming because I had Peggy on Northern Consultations.
Yeah, you both were on that episode.
Yeah. And so I knew it was coming, and it still hurts. Like
I didn't know you put that in an audition tape.
It's the coolest thing, honestly. Like to like use to use somebody's love of something and to honor their memory in such a way is honestly beautiful. Like we've seen it with a number of different competitors now, and it's just.
But there's something about taking up the person's dream, which makes it even more special, and that's where the Charlotte Flair comparison comes in, because I don't know, it's pretty much well known out there in the wrestling world now. The reason why Charlotte Flair became a professional wrestler is because it was her brother Reed's dream, and he passed away of an overdose, and so she took it up with the mantle, and now she's one of the best female wrestlers of all time. It's nice. Comparisons are
I know so very little. I heard Flair, and I was like, Ric Flair's daughter? What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And then, I was fortunate enough to meet Paige before her match, something totally different, and she won me over right there. I was a fan for life of her. I can't wait to see her. Can we see both Peggy and especially Paige succeed going on? But yes, bring us down to round one there, Daniel, if you don't mind.
Oh, like I don't actually have any stats or anything with me. I just, I know, like, I know they scored lower than most round one matches, but I do believe that is just first time jitters. I think it was like 4-6 if I want to pull numbers out of my ass a little bit.
This is weird. I don't have numbers. What the hell?
I do believe it. It
well,
was
honestly, I didn't know. I didn't know until yesterday that I was going to be on the show, so I didn't have time to go back and grab stats from each episode.
Fair point, and you are a busier man now. Sorry, what were you about to say, Taco?
No, it's all good. I do think a lot of it did come down to jitters, because you could even see after they missed them, when they hear the answer, they were like, that look of it was in there, like, they just can't pull it. And I do think that this match doesn't show how knowledgeable the two players were. I do think a lot of it came down to it's hard to say lights when there aren't actual physical lights, but you can always feel a live show. You can always feel the audience that are going to watch you no matter what, if you're doing anything like this, and it will mess with you. And I do think that they just had a lot of callback issues in the first round, but I don't think it's reflective of how actually knowledgeable they are.
And then their second round, they were both really strong. And Oprah Winfrey, like that's a new category.
That's a rough category.
Nailed it.
Yeah. She's really good. I do a couple of them, but yeah.
I did. I got the last two right. I had to guess on the other ones.
See, that one's a curious one, because like there are a limited number of movies where Oprah plays a large role, and then there are a larger field of movies where Oprah is a supporting character or a cameo or this or that, and any of those could really be pulled from, because Oprah is such a big draw that cameo would be a piece of movie trivia. Like, it's such a daunting category on the face.
Well, I'm on her IMDb page, and she does have 30 acting credits, so she does have a pretty wide.
Yeah, but this is Oprah we're talking about. You look at other big names like that. Yeah. They're going to have huge names, but she was known for outside of movies, and it's. I do think even 30. Like, I can name 5. Like, that's why it's a hard category. I can maybe name 5 movies. Like, you got Color Purple, Selma, the one that I can't remember about, like the Wrinkle in Time or whatever it was called, and which I didn't watch. And there, I got 3. Maybe I can pull others, but like, it's a hard category. I got the Color Purple one right, and that's just because I really love the director's epic rap battles of history where they bring it up. And that's
Yeah,
the only reason I knew that movie. Side
It's
knowledge.
funny to hear Paige. Like I was on speaking of Schmodown about 2 hours ago, talking about Paige and Peggy, and Paige is like, "Yeah, I knew all her questions." And don't forget Ghost. That's Whoopi Goldberg, man. That is Whoopi Goldberg, my friend.
Although
that's Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, there's a very big difference. Yeah, one's a comedic actor, one's the talk shows.
That is the true curse of the Schmodown, is you always know your opponent's questions. And, I mean, even if you didn't know them, you're going to claim you knew them.
Yeah.
Well, then it's always easier when they're not your question. Like, I bet you there's hundreds of people who, when they like Schmodown competitors, who when they watch Schmodown matches, they go 100%. And then they've never had a 100% game when they're answering the questions. It's always easier when you're not on the spot.
Even
really good
better,
from the couch.
Even better, I'd put money on somebody is nailing a question in practice that they got from a previous episode, and they miss the question when it is recycled to them. Because questions do get recycled after 3 or 4 years or whatever it is in the rule book. So I'm sure there is a thing that, like, verbatim, the question has been asked to you and you nail it 9 times out of 10 in practice. And the 10th time, that's the one in the match.
Yeah. And a lot of competitors have admitted to that happening. Or it's like, oh, we literally just talked about this, and I can't believe this.
I think Bateman mentioned there was one question that he missed, and then, like, so it's, those things that the competitors always say of, like, you always remember the questions you miss. And so he went back and he watched the movie and he wrote the question onto a flashcard. And then several years and years later, the question got recycled to him, maybe worded a little bit differently this time around, and he missed it again. And he was saying it's just some things are just like little memory blips as well. That just no matter how many times
massive
you think about it
like that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while I get
your mind.
Yeah.
There's like directors who I know and I'll say all the time, and then every once in a while I'll be like, this happened to me with Stanley Kubrick the other day. I couldn't pull that name. And it's like a very famous director. I have all of his movies, and I'm like talking to Leslie, and she's like, oh, who's the director who directed that? And I was like, Stan something. And I was like, what, Mark? You said this name a billion. Like, you have weird brain farts where your brain just doesn't let you, just shuts things down sometimes.
And it's always at the worst possible moment, too. It's like, God damn. So that was a great match from both of them. You can tell they both fit in right away. Like there were like there were nerves, but I mean like they felt like they belonged. Like they've been playing for a long time.
Yeah, and so correct me if I'm wrong. So Peggy's one of the family 4, right? I'm not wrong on that.
And Paige, I don't think she's ever played before.
No,
that's what I was going to ask if she's ever done anything before.
Yeah, I don't think there's any previous tape on Paige at all.
But you know what?
But no,
that's rough for Peggy if you can't get the tape on her at all and you have no clue what you're walking into. Do you remember what the other what Peggy spun? No. Sorry, Peggy got Oprah. What Paige got?
I'm sorry. I right now I'm blanking. I want to say Thrillers because I rewatched this on Monday when it dropped for patrons, and I actually haven't watched it back since. So
yeah, same here.
Yeah, I watched it on Monday.
I do remember it being a pretty broad category, but that's about it.
I want to say it was Thriller, but I could be wrong.
And like attitude and character-wise, like they both fit right in. And to what Soda was saying earlier about not sure, or Taco as well, you said like not sure how many matches there are for like 0-1 competitors. I think the ones that make splashes do kind of end up in those rebound scenarios, and it is tough because the suspects are so stacked in singles, but I could see Paige being added into the free-for-all lineup for them.
And that's going to be a big thing, is the free-for-all, because look at Brendan Meyer. Brendan Meyer got beat by Polo Yama, and then he was gone. And then he came killed it, and now he's Brendan the Kid frickin' Meyer. He's one of our better players.
Former team champ, 100%. It's like the Royal Rumble. It's make or break, and I got a feeling Paige is going to do all right.
If you survive 2 or 3 rounds, you make a splash. Like, it's rough. Free for all can be pretty brutal, and there we've seen so many players like even Riley or even Roca who get killed in 1 or 2 rounds, and it's like they're real. We know they're good.
Riley's notorious for that. He comes in, 1 or 2 rounds, and he's gone. It's like, oh, that was fast.
Yeah.
So let's hop.
Sorry, go ahead. We're not talking about free for all.
I was going to say, okay, yeah. So let's hop into the second match where the Barbarian makes his season debut against Alex Damon, who's coming off of a Star Wars title loss, and what's arguably the greatest match of all time. Like, you could already hear the chatter about that, and I'm not going to argue it because, damn. But you know where his head was at going into this match, and lo and behold, he pulls out the win.
I feel like you got to take that Star Wars match just out of the talk. Like, we'll just put it up here on a pedestal, and then we'll talk about keep it fair. Like, stop bringing up Empire Strikes Back. We know it's the best movie. Let's just talk about everything else.
Pretty much. And
sorry, I do kind of want to bring up the Empire Strikes Back for a second, though.
Of course.
Okay. You're welcome for that segue.
Because it's kind of, this is the Empire Strikes Back. if Alex Damon is the Empire and the Empire was just defeated, this is their comeback. This is the Empire coming back to power. The second Death Star is going to be built, etc., etc. This is Alex kind of answering for that defeat, you know?
You're right.
And doing
You're right. And he put Barbarian in Carbonite. It was really dark ending. Yeah.
Because honestly, you didn't know how much that would have weighed on Alex's head going into it. But I mean, honestly, couldn't tell. Like, it didn't phase him whatsoever. He came in and
I think he was a little more emotional. Like, by more emotional, I mean he's usually nothing, like a blank slate. Like, you can't read that man at all. I feel like he was like, no, I'm gonna kick some ass today. Like, I feel like he was a lot more like, no, I'm going to win. Like, like, he had a little bit more fire to him, which is a small amount, but more than normal. And I really liked it. I like a hungry Damon.
They're finally giving him a character.
Yeah.
It's nice to see it. It seemed natural. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and I think he's getting a character. I mean, it's hard to play that I never lose character. There's not a character there. There's no drama there. There isn't. Smets became Smets after his loss.
Don't tell Peter.
Like, sure, everyone loved him, but the Don't Tell Peter made him Smets, right? And that's it. He need to get knocked down. And guess what? He's brutal now. Like, he went into a division that's not even his main division. He's about to get a number 1 contender match, man. Like, he's
Yeah, you're not wrong, Dave. You're not wrong, Dave.
Put him in a Carbonite.
Yeah. I love those movies so much. But yeah, and of course, Alex Damon spins Star Wars in round number 2. And I love his reaction. Like, I can't get away from this.
That's so unfair. I mean, it isn't. It's the rules. I'm not saying it's cheating or anything. If I was Barbarian, I'm like, yeah, of course. Yeah. Fuck it. Why not?
Please.
Caution to the wind, then. Whatever.
And honestly, when you're looking at it and you're only 4 points ahead of Damon and he's about to, like, I mean, it's Star Wars. We all knew he was going to roll 10 points in it. And yeah, like, it was just that almost insurmountable climb of 6 points in the third round is just impossible for I'd say 8 out of 10 times, because we've seen it happen enough that it's not entirely an impossibility, but I don't know, like the psyched, like, how psyched you'd have to be after watching that happen. Like I don't know what you do to answer all three questions and even push for that. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, Alex did it flawlessly, and yeah, he showed why he's the best Star Wars player out there. But he's making a name for himself in Geekdom. He's now what 4-1.
Yeah, he's 4-1.
Mm.
It's nuts. He's got a really good record. Because he was 3-1 going into the match. Did he have a match before the tournament last year? The
I
Intergeekdom tournament?
believe he did, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. Because I know he went into he got into the tournament, and I didn't think he went that far. I didn't think he got 3 wins in the tournament. I think he got 2.
He got 2.
Yeah, he got 2 in the
And then
tournament, and
Kalinowski.
he played Emily Rose Jacobson early in the season in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That's right. That was the first match. Yeah.
Yeah, now I remember that.
Yeah.
Because you go to Atlanta, so you have to get him to do something. Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, because that was during the time where he was just pretty much a live show spectacle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was him and Emily, and then Bateman and Merle.
And
yeah, it was.
Damn.
Was that the last live show too?
Atlanta?
No. What? Maybe. Yeah.
Because it was like February 29th.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And then it was Atlanta. Yeah.
Because the next live show would have been the free for all.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Because that would have been. Yep.
What do you guys think of Barbarian? It almost seems like he's now becoming. They're turning his character into Roka's lackey. At least it's what it came off to me.
I want to hit you right now, Soda. You need to watch your mouth. You don't talk about Barbarian like that. Oh my God, I got so upset when you said that. Are they doing that? I didn't read that at all.
Just the amount of times he brought up Roka and how he's the greatest of all time. It was kind of
people do that all the time.
Yeah.
Take a drink every time I'm backstage. Bateman says whatever manager he has is the greatest.
That's backstage. I'm talking about during the match.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess you're right. He did.
That's backstage. That's also a little bit in reality, a little bit.
But if anything, the Barbarian is and always has been like Gucci's muscle. Like
That's like what he was billed as, pretty much. Yeah. Like he walked up, Gucci, you need some muscle, yeah, and drafted him.
He fucking looks like it too. Like, did he honestly put on muscle mass?
He looks amazing. I don't like that mustache, but
really,
neither does my wife.
I thought it was great.
She has I have a massive man crush on Barbarian, and my wife has, a normal crush on Barbarian because his story is so good, and like his outside of the league story is so good, and also he's just so knowledgeable. Just listen to the guy talk; it's like literally watching an encyclopedia speak. Yeah. Like he has that, like almost like Bibbs, like he has that aura of like, what don't you know? Yeah. So it's really sad to see him stumble, and I want him to get more matches, and then. He always seems like, back to what you were saying, he seems like he gets second fiddle to even last year and this year of like, no, we have to prop up our bigger guys, put our bigger guys in our main team. And Barbarian keeps kind of just sitting in the sidelines, just amazingly coaching his team, but he doesn't get to be, he's always a bridesmaid, it seems. And I need him to be a bride. He's so good.
I get the feeling that this year that won't be the case because you don't
have a
team.
How dare Ben insult Elvis Jr. like that?
Oof.
I don't know if anyone has called the Barbarian's mustache Elvis Jr. yet, but I would like to be the first person to propose that name if that's a thing.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. I'm in.
In the middle of the night, Elvis just like all of a sudden stood up and like, and the So yeah, overall it was a good match. It was a nice rebound from Alex Damon. Yeah, and you know what? We are going to see the Barbarian more this year because he is a player. Personally, I kind of would like to see him focus more on singles because I think he's more dominant in there. But again, that's just me. I prefer him as a singles player.
This match was so odd because it's going into a number one contender match, but I wouldn't really consider either of these guys IG players. They're players who play IG, but Damon's a Star Wars player, and, well, Barbarian's kind of a switch hitter for freaking everything at this point. But Yeah, I like think of him as a singles and hopefully one day a teams player. And then uh like that IG was like Gucci didn't have a round enough freaking team last year, so he put Barbarian into the IG tournament and he did decent. That's how I think of Barbarian and IG was he's like covering for it, but it's not his main thing.
He's a plug might not be the right word, but he's a good fill in.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And see, the way I see it is a lot like how I will mention that as well. Dave's comment.
Yeah.
The thing is, basically the way it works is Chance is not in the IG title picture currently because he was the last person to lose it before Chandru. He will be in the next run up. Which will be with Hannah and Parker, who were knocked out of the tournament too early. Those are guys you think about when you think about the IG division. But they were knocked out very quickly by people like Chance, people like Alex Damon, who beat Hannah.
Kalinowski, who knocked Damon out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're playing to face Mike in the number one contenders. The next number one contenders will probably be against the winner of Chance versus. They might do Chance versus Chandru too, or they might do like winner plays Chance, next plays Chandru, because one lost the belt, one lost their chance at the belt. So you go through Chance, then you go through Chandru, then you get a title shot. That could be the line for people like Hannah and Robert Parker, should one of them beat the other one. And yeah, it's because you need to continually add new people to the mix. So losing a title drops you to like third or fourth in the rankings, not second.
Yeah, you're still in the picture, but you have to wait a minute.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit longer than
by basically because they take the champions out of the rankings. The number one contender is a person outside of the championship picture at all times.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't have one, so 2 and 3 need to play each other. That means if you lose that championship match, you're being dropped all the way to the 4th slot, and you could be pushed past by people who are actually getting matches. Getting, playing, and winning matches will always push your ranking higher than losing championship matches or even losing number one contender matches, because multiple matches does push that ranking up a little bit further. Which explains why Alex Damon and the Barbarian are playing here. And
yeah,
to answer,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, to answer why it's Barbarian for the Finstock exchange is because, like Dan Murrell being offered the singles number one contender match, like he was planning on going into IG last year and starting off his season that way, but when you're offered a number one contender match or a road to a title, you take it.
No, I agree with why Barbarian played this match. It was just why Barbarian was doing IG to begin with. I think it was because they just didn't have that, part of the game covered. And Barbarian's like, hey, I can do everything. And, Finstock was like, get in there. But yeah, now he definitely earned it. And especially coming off of these tournaments, only one person gets a title match after tournament, right? The guy who wins it. But you look at the people who played all the way up to the semifinals or even the finals, they just added 2 to 4, depending on the size of the tournament, 2 to 4 wins. They're probably going to get a title match soon. Like, that's why we got people who are like 3-1 because they played really good towards the tournament, but you don't get the title match unless you win. But now it's like, cool, beat this guy. Now you're in, or now here's the number one contender.
And that's
because
how 3-1 record is because of his win in the tournament.
Yeah, and that's why Ace has the phenomenal record Ace has because he got the play-in match and played all the way through and won the entire tournament. His only loss is against Damon, and it's that's why his record is so immaculate. and also why Laura Kelly, Molly Damon, all of them got their number one contender and a chance at the belt now because they both played really good through the tournament. So their numbers got so jacked. It's like inflation. I love tournaments because of that. Because of number inflation.
Had we had a deeper teams tournament, then I don't think we would have got this Friday match. We would have got
a good segue.
we would have got like, instead of the losers of the championship match playing the losers of the tournament, we would have got the semis of the tournament would have played each other. Those two would have played Shazam, and the winner would play Final Exam. Final Exam, I believe, should have been the number one contender in that match. But because of the way there weren't enough teams matches last year, and Shazam played as many, if not more, than Final Exam, their ranking is still number one.
And look at it this way too: how many teams exist from last year?
That's true.
3, 4, honestly, 5, like, maybe not 5.
I think it would have been Deception versus Founding Fathers.
But Founding Fathers isn't a thing right now.
Exactly. Yeah. Like there isn't a team in the Final Four that is left to do that. And you could have had Deception play Shazam and to see who plays Final Exam. But it's just that teams tournament wasn't quite deep enough to determine that Final Exam is a true number one contender in the rankings.
And so we might as well hop right into it, like the final match of the week, which was the rematch of the first teams match of last year, Shazam versus Final Exam. And
first team match of COVID time. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, what did you guys think of this match? Like, Shazam played outstanding again,
dude. What's their record? Talk about records, man. Shazam has one of the best teams record. Well, besides freaking Patriots with their 10-0 win, but like Shazam has an insane record because they've now walked through so much. Like, they are so good.
If you give me a second, I will try to.
They said it. I wish I had the recall right now. They said it during the match.
I do know that they have not lost a 3-round match.
8-2 going into this match.
Yeah.
What in 2?
8-2.
8-2. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Like, get these guys some belts.
Yeah. Above the Line had 7.
Oh.
And Founding Fathers had 6. Corruption also has 7. Patriots still hold the record for 9. Shire Wolves had 7 as well. Like, that's Odd Couple has the most wins. Odd Couple
has losses though.
10. For who?
Odd Couple.
4.
This is 8-2. 4. They can get it. They can get 10-2 if they freaking can. Like, I mean, 8-2 is such a crazy, and just what Daniel just said. They don't lose 3-round matches. They only lost title matches. They go on runs, and that's it.
They're absolutely dominant in the 3 round, and they showed it again this one. They freaking TKO Exam.
I feel like they just don't get the credit they deserve as teams. Like, they should be talked about as one of, if not the best team right now, like one of the best, like one of the 2 top teams right now. Like, we don't have, like, they're insane. 8-2, and they're both so dominant, and they play so well.
They deserve to be in the conversation for best teams of all time. Not just right now, all time.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that. But so, what do you guys think of this match? Like, honestly, it was great from Shazam's point of view. Final Exam, though, Lon had a rough first round.
I want to hug Paul so bad now. I thought that the whole match. I'm like, dude needs a pat on the back, man, because he's such a good player, and I love Paul. And he was in his head, and he was really. You could see the really dark gears turning. Sorry, we could have saved that for the end, but I had to get that out. It's all I was thinking all day.
We'll get into that at the end. Daniel, what were your thoughts on the match?
It was really tough to see Final Exam, because honestly, to see Final Exam get TKO'd is the craziest thing, considering, like, they're they're one of the teams you expect to be breaking points records. And I mean, when not counting matches against Shazam, they basically do.
Yeah.
And like, did you just say they were 5-2, Soda?
Going into today's match, yeah, 5-2.
So yes, the only team Final Exam has lost to is Shazam.
No, that's going into today.
Yeah.
So
Who else did they lose to? Shazam and.
It's probably gonna be like Odd Couple. If we're
it was either Odd Couple or Corruption, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yes, it was Odd Couple in the tournament last year.
Yep. Which again, no shame losing to Odd Couple.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Final Exam have only lost to teams that have directly gone on to win the team's championships. So if Shazam goes to directly win the team's championships at this point, that record will hold true for a third time.
It reminds me of once.
Wait, they didn't win the team's championship yet. They still got to beat Odd Couple.
I know, but I'm saying if they do it.
If they do, okay. Yeah. I didn't hear the if. I thought you were speaking in certainties. I was like, whoa.
Last year, Shazam beat Final Exam and then won the team's title, and then Odd Couple beat Final Exam and then went on to win the title. If Shazam does it for the third time here, it will be a third time in a row that somebody conquers Final Exam and then wins the title, and they will only have lost to champions.
Poor guys. And I don't like quoting the boat, but Lon got the yips, man.
Oh God, he got it bad, and
he used to have a bad case of it, and we thought he shook it. I thought he left it with the freaking professor, and then when he became the delinquent, like the best character of all time, I thought he left the yips. And man, did he have a case today? And man, do you hate to see it?
Yeah, it was tough.
I do feel bad for Paul because it was rough.
Paul was on point in round one. Yeah, he was doing good, and then he's watching Lon like, come on, buddy.
Ooh, that's harsh words, Dave.
I mean,
dropping bombs.
Yeah,
but I can see where a lot of Paul's frustration comes from because you can't control somebody else as much as the government wants to. You can't, and you can play as best you want. And if your teammate just drops the ball, you can't do anything about it, and it's got to be frustrating. And nothing gets Lon. I love Lon. He's one of my favorite characters ever, and one of my favorite players. And I always know that he's got more in him. That he will get the belt one day, and Lon will actually have a really good run. But every time he gets close, he gets a case of the yips, man, and it's so frustrating. And I know where Paul's coming from.
Are you sure it wasn't the professor playing today?
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As Leo said, that Carl Urban steal also helped because The Rock wasn't.
That one was really tough, and this was another one that was a full a 2 points worth of steal in the second round. Alex got 2 multiple choice steals, and they got a 2-point in this one, and then a full clear of the board on their side. And
they strength horror, and once you saw that, it's like, oh, game over.
Yeah.
I wanted to just shut the TV off and then check up the score later, but I knew I was doing this because I knew that Bibs are just going to be like, oh, num.
Pretty much.
Like, it's horror.
But they were actually geniuses about this, because a match typically runs between 45 minutes and 55 minutes. But this match, and I was looking at an 8-point deficit, and I look at my YouTube thing, and I'm only 2/3 of the way through a 1 hour and 5-minute video. And I was just like, wait a minute, is there actually a comeback in this? And that forced me to watch that round 3, because for some reason the timing of it looked
you thought there was going to be
I was like,
round 3 comeback.
There can't possibly be only the couple of questions, and they did it smart by just making the interviews a little longer so that you wouldn't leave immediately.
Yeah, and then going into round 3, your heart has to break for Paul for that 3-pointer. Holy shit!
Absolutely.
Tough one.
I got something I want to say about round 2 still.
Go ahead.
How many people does that fucking Doom movie have to hurt? All right, that movie was garbage. It died when it landed. It was a flop. No one cared about it, and it's got to come back and ruin my 2 favorite players' fucking day.
See,
all right, no, it's bullshit. The Rock was billed, and the whole thing is they like do a rope-a-dope, and Carl Urban's the main character. Yeah. And if you watch the movie, even during the movie, you're like, "What? No, this is dumb." And
really? I thought it was a dumb, fun, horribly
on?
Bad movie. I actually didn't mind it, just from based on that. I knew it was bad going in, but like, okay, this is like one of those movies you can sit with your friends and make fun of the whole time.
I'm a big Doom fan, so it's like, this ain't Doom. They give you like 10 seconds of that first-person shoot just to like rub it in.
No, to be honest.
Yeah, that was a good 10 seconds. It became Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, I never played the games before, so I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There's no lore or anything. It's not like it hurt my lore. It's just killing demons. But
yeah, I like this. PLD's not somebody misses an Ed Harris question, like what Brad Gilmore when somebody misses a Back to the Future question. Yeah. And let's not forget, Brad Gilmore lost the Back to the Future exhibition match too.
I was gonna say, if PLD wants to write a book about Ed Harris, I will buy and read it.
Oh, is he that obsessed with him?
I don't know, but from that comment, it sounds like he would be. But I would just read a book about Ed Harris written by PLD easily.
I think it was brought up on backstage or something about how much he loves Ed Harris. Like I thought it was mentioned.
I'm in full disclosure. I haven't watched backstage in so long.
Oh, I watch all this stuff because I'm a Schmodown fan. How's it going, Soda?
I don't watch that stuff because I have shows every day of the week.
Oh, sorry. Some of us are just normal people who work and then watch entertainment for entertaining reasons.
See, I download all of the entertainment in audio format, and I listen to it while I work, and that overlaps the two.
There was a time where I used to be able to do that, but I can't now because my boss hovers around all the time for like almost all day, so I can't do that. I'm
so good at hiding headphones. I work at a factory for 12 hours. I got premium YouTube, so I don't have to deal with ads, and I got unlimited gigs. I just stream information in my ears like all day.
When I worked in Vancouver, I would do that. I'd have my headphones in. I'd listen on my podcasts. Yeah, it was great times.
I was listening to Backstage today last night at work while I was cleaning screens, and Brad Gilmore called up Smets to do a rematch and gave him 3 questions of Back to the Future, and that was amazing. Nice. Sorry to plug a show that doesn't need plugging, but it was awesome because I'm a Smets, love Smets. So
thanks for putting this in the chat, Dave, because I forgot to put up our normal backgrounds. I'm sorry. Yes, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It always seems like every time I'm in charge, I forget something.
It's all right, man. You're doing a good job. I appreciate you. Sorry for yelling at you earlier. Doom really sucked, though. So
I'm Canadian. I can
handle it. And since you're like sitting here forgetting how things are supposed to be done, can we have ice cream for dinner?
Yes. I do want ice cream.
Tell your mother.
Who's the mother in this situation, Frenchie?
Pretty much.
I think Dave would be more of the mother of Schmo for the North. Like,
and Frenchie's the weird uncle?
No, you be the weird uncle.
No, Frenchie would be the father because he is the founder and all of that. But Dave really creates everything. So
he's definitely the father who passes out on his hand and with his hand down his pants.
Yeah, he's the Al Bundy.
Yeah, exactly. He's the Al Bundy. That makes Dave Peggy.
Mama Dave and Pablo Frenchie.
So which of the kids does that make us, Daniel?
Well, I guess I don't know.
I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Daniel's definitely the Christina Applegate man. I always go woo when he walks into the room, man. Woo, Daniel.
Is Christina Applegate the middle child? Because
the oldest one. Kelly's the oldest one. She's super hot.
Okay.
Watch the show.
Yeah. and so that makes me David Faustino awesome.
Yeah, you're taller than him. I hope. I think he's like 5'2". So
yeah, I'm 11 and a half, 6 foot, something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. So we're talking about a Schmodown match of some sort, right?
Mhm.
So now we can get into the third round. I give you the approval.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, no, like Paul's third round question. That's a fucking 5-pointer.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
For me, it was.
I said that out loud. I was like, "That's a 3-pointer." In
It
what
was-
world? Holy crap!
It was a really tough one, and you can tell he like wrote all of the names of the actors down, and he wrote all of their names down, and I'm pretty sure he wrote the title of 2 different. He probably wrote the correct answer, and like was bouncing back and forth between these 2 movies, and like wasn't sure on the year, so he's just guessing based on. He knows 2 of the actors were in both of these movies, and he's trying to guess the other 2 extraneous ones, and it wasn't clicking. And
I can't fully remember the question right now. I remember it being brutal.
It was.
Do you remember what it was?
I don't remember the exact wording, but what's the name of the 2015 thriller that stars and it had Liam Neeson, Ed Harris, and like a couple other actors in it?
Yeah, what the?
Yeah,
I was like, Walk Among the Taken, Tombstone. Like, there's like how many freaking Liam Neeson throwaway action movies for like that 5-year stretch,
right? And it's still going on now to today.
And actually,
Really?
it was just
Didn't he get hashtagged out of it?
From my perspective, it just looked like a much more difficult version of his bonus question from round 1, of where it was just like, it just sounds like a sequel to a movie, and you just gotta guess one, and he guesses Horrible Bosses 2, and it's just slightly different.
Yeah, it was the one where they pretend to be a family to smuggle drugs.
We're the Millers.
Yeah, we're the Millers, which I loved, actually.
Yeah, that was a pretty enjoyable movie.
Well, it made me really like Will Poulter, and I still like Will Poulter. He's been really good in everything else he is.
You ever saw Will Poulter and was in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and I fucking hated him in that movie. He was such a little shit.
I never watched that garbage. I don't do YA novels. If I ever played the Schmodown, man, give me YA adaptations. I'm like, if it's not The Outsiders, I'm not going to know it, man.
Fair point.
Yeah.
So, all right, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was going to do what you just. I was going to say, to bring us home. Let's talk about.
Oh yeah, I was going to say let's just hop into the post match, and you can see the kinks, whatever the term is, the holes in the armor of good guy Paul Oyama, it seemed, and you have.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing so good, and you know that it wasn't his fault. Like, he missed a 3, but you know he's going to roost that. He's going to get mad at himself about missing a bonus question and then his 3-pointer. When they already lost, they had an 8-point deficit going into round 3. I used to play Magic the Gathering, and I'll tell you right now, if my odds were that bad, my card have been flipped onto the table. I don't play when I know I lost. And an 8-point deficit, I would have been like, I don't even want to play. I don't want to do round 3 if there's an 8-point deficit.
Do you think?
Sure, except
now after this match, yes. I would never have thought that Paul would turn on, but after this match, I think he wants to burn something. I think he wants Scorched Earth because you could tell how pissed he was, and I completely agree.
It's possible, and like I could definitely see that angle being taken, but the issue I have with not wanting to play round 3 is the Odd Couple had an 8-point deficit.
That is true.
And then literally Shazam could only answer 1 question in the final round.
Yeah.
So like you go out and you try hitting them, but I think like we are putting a little bit like too much on Lon, because like everyone has had one of those matches.
Oh yeah, of
I-
course.
Yeah,
Also,
but Lon hasn't had one of those matches.
Hmm?
Lon's had multiple of those matches, and
Well,
I love
yes.
Lon. I don't like talking shit, but I
Again,
gotta be honest.
He's only
And
had one of
that's what we're
them.
here for
since.
is to be honest. Like we're
Like,
not going to kiss anyone's ass, really.
Yeah, and I do kind of hit the reset button when Lon became the delinquent last year, because
Yeah,
you can
and that
tell
was
this is a different. Same thing as I have to hit the reset button on Bateman around
And
the
Bibbs as
time
well.
that he wins all of
Yeah.
the tournaments. Bibbs as well does it around. They all have this new resurgence, and
Yeah.
since then,
and that's
Lon
why
has
it's
had
sad
one
when you
bad
see
game.
the yips pop up again. That's why it's tragic, because he did get over it. Because the professor had him, the delinquent didn't. And I love Lon, so I was like, yes, Lon, take it home. So when he did do this in round one, I'm like, what are you doing? And I know somebody said in the chat, I can't remember who it was, you put it up already, but it was the don't put it all on Paul. I really wasn't trying to put it all on Paul. The point I was trying to make was Paul missed like a few questions, and he's gonna hate himself for it. And that's the tragedy. Is he might blame Lon a little, but you know he's gonna be in his head, and he's gonna be pissed that he missed a 3-pointer and pissed that he missed a bonus question. Bonus question. He went perfect. And
But
he's
I
gonna
also
eat
think that's
himself up
good.
for 2 fucking questions. And it's tragic.
I think that's good for Paul Oyama, though.
Makes him
Like
hungry.
that just means next match Paul Oyama's gonna hit every goddamn question that exists.
And
And
hating yourself is
the
healthy.
better part about that is it's gonna be a singles match. And it's gonna be him in the singles pushing his title run, and he's only 1 or 2 matches away himself. Like
I love
especially
the high
if
up
he
singles
gets
picture.
if he gets that Irwin matchup that he was asking for, and he beats Irwin, it's basically like, give me the number 1 contender, whoever that is, and then give me my shot at Adam Collins or Dan Murrell, whoever's still holding it at the time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I want to see any of those matchups.
Yeah, and I mean, like,
I love
all of them.
Paul's been known to have those matches as well. Like, just I had to bring it up because I couldn't remember the score. But look back to when he lost to Bateman in Spectacular, 16-3.
Who did?
Wow.
Paul Oyama lost his title to Ben Bateman by a score of 16-3.
Was it that bad? I must
It was
blink
that
that
bad.
out.
And
I knew he got beat, but I
that's not
didn't know
even
it was
all
that
that
brutal.
long ago.
No, that was
I know.
2019. Yeah, Jesus.
It was the end of 2019. And that's why everyone goes Oyama, who right after he did this amazing run, and everyone's like, whatever, Oyama's old news. It's like, it's last year. It's an old news.
I wasn't. Here's the thing, though. Like, I'm looking at his record. After he lost to Bateman, he lost to Roca, beat Marisol, lost to Snyder, lost in the free for all, and then he beat Bibbs earlier this year. So it's been
still a really good competitor.
Like,
yeah,
like,
he's had a like bumpy record, but he's been close and competitive in all of those games. That's the difference.
That Bateman match,
And it's like looking at Ben Bateman's most recent record. There's a lot of losses to Dan Murrell on it, but like it's a lot of losses to Dan fucking
if
Murrell.
It was anybody else, he won those matches.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I'm saying. And
I want to address this soda if I get a chance. I think it was you last week. We were talking about a wounded Damon, and I didn't like the term wounded because it implied that he was hurt and like less strong. But you were trying to make it seem like motivated, like wounded. And
like
I agree with that. And we were both right where he wasn't injured, he was angry, and that's what he brought in to fight Barbarian. I just don't want wounded as in injured, hurt Oyama. If he's walking into this really dangerous looking high up singles league right now where you got Bateman, Roca, Irwin, and one of those guys are going to go up and probably get number 1 contender soon, like that's a really, really awesome couple people way up there in the top of the singles division. I hope he's an angry, motivated, punch you in the face Oyama right now. That's what I want. I don't want him to get in his head. I want him to get pissed. And whatever he has to do that.
Bring back a little bit of the original prime time for sure.
And I think like we're gonna see. There's a good chance we see that out of Lon when we next see him in, oh my god, one of my most anticipated matches ever coming up in Lon Harris versus Drew McWeeny. Because that is just,
that one's been
my god.
In the league. Holy shit.
That'd
be a great one.
That's my number. That's probably my number one, and then JT Goddard is all I've been thinking about.
To kind of wrap up my point as to why I'm not like ultimately worried about Lon, and to mention like how Ben Bateman and people like that, like before this resurgence, are like were good players, and I actually tend to say that Ben Bateman was not a good player until he was. And there is like a switch you can find in his career that really jumps him from a like 60% player to an 80-90% accuracy. And you can tell, and it's a matter of, you know, games played before they reach these mountaintops. And that's why I don't put a lot of stock into the rumors that JTE isn't going to be very good. Because while
I remember last time I said that he destroyed Bibbs. So go ahead and talk crap about
and like
JTE.
while his accuracy was never high, it was also in a league that's accurate. Like average accuracy was not high, and we know JTE. We know like. He knows what he's stepping into. People would have warned him.
You're gonna get,
and they definitely spoke to him before signing him before draft and everything.
He's in a faction with a manager who managed him back then. So so Finstock knows
how to talk to him.
Knows him and knows what to work on to get him to where he needs to be. And so I think that's great.
Which is why you can see Duralde in and not Achity, whereas like. This is very much becoming a big time serious thing, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to be pushed behind eventually.
I don't know if he got KO'd. He at least got TKO'd, if not KO'd, by Collins in round 2. The question that just popped up.
Yeah, he got knocked out by Adam Collins.
Was it KO? It was a knockout, a full-on knockout?
Yeah.
Well, you walked into Collins.
2 finish.
Shit happened.
Yeah. Come on, it's Adam Collins.
You remember that tournament? It was nuts. It was like Vietnam, man. It was bonkers.
Just like Vietnam, I still get flashbacks from that.
It was just everybody battling. It was everybody battling for the chance to be defeated by Adam Collins. Honestly, like everyone fought so hard, and it looked like he just walked through the whole thing. He was Thanos in Infinity War.
20-9 was the final score of the Collins Lon Harris match. That's an ass kicking.
Yeah, that hurts. We were talking about 16-3 earlier. I think the worst, maybe this is top of my head, but I think the worst defeat of all time was right after Stacy knocked out Baby Carrots. This is a long time ago. And then she played, and it blew everyone's mind. And then she played Cushing, and Cushing beat her like 20-2, or like, I'm not looking it up, but I know that she only scored 2 in the first round, and she got knocked out. Didn't get anything in round 2, and Rachel Cushing just destroyed her. Now that we're just talking about destroys.
Yeah, 16-3 as well. 16-3.
Oh, it was 3?
16-3,
okay.
Yeah.
That's brutal. My main point is I'm not too worried about Lon. I think he can take it in stride. He's had dips, and he's fine. He comes back and beats one of the best characters ever with Delinquent coming off of a dip. Like, I think his mindset's good. I think he's got a really healthy brain up there, and I love Lon, and, I would love to buy him a beer. I would love to hug Paul and tell him, you're a champ and you're going to be a champ again. Don't let this match hurt anything up here. Like, just get pissed and, knock Roca back to the old folks' home where he belongs. Like, just get in there, man.
Yeah.
Not that he's playing Roca.
Yeah,
I want
and
him to, though.
Dave popped this one up. It's Only Stupid Answers versus the Odd Couple, who Only Stupid Answers never answered a freaking question in round 2. Yeah, I remember that. That was rough. That has to be the worst.
They lived up to their name. Yeah.
That has to be the worst loss in the history of SmackDown.
All right. So
before we do that,
Snyder versus El Biambe
that was just a horrible match. Period. No, before we go, I want to touch a little bit on the scene we got at the beginning of today's match, which is Roca versus Merle. How badly do you want to see those two go at it again?
I had that thought.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, we're going to get a Roca, possibly, who knows, Roca playing for the belt against Merle again. What are we in 2017? Right. Let's do this. Like, I got
so in him to make his way back to that mountaintop.
Roca's on fire right now. Yeah, Roca's.
I think so too.
We're going to get matches right now.
I hope he enters the tournament because I want that to main event Spectacular this year.
See,
I think it will happen before the Spectacular. Yeah, I think that if he has a singles run right now, he can go on.
Yeah, but it all depends on if Dan beats Collins, though.
Yeah, you can't bet against an undefeated guy. That's what I always say.
If Dan doesn't beat Collins, Dan's in the tournament. I think Roca, though, ends up playing the if he wins. Roca will end up in the pre-tournament championship match. So he will actually be ended up, if he takes this title match, excluded from the tournament. If like the timing kind of doesn't work out.
This is a perfect world scenario. Could you imagine if what you just said happened and Roca has that pre-tournament match and he wins, and then Dan enters the tournament and wins that, and we have Roca as the champ going into a match? Holy
that could be great.
You know why I don't like that? Because if Roca becomes the champion, I actually want to see him retain the belt, and no one retains against Merle. Merle doesn't lose challenges. He doesn't. When he's the challenger, he doesn't lose. Didn't somebody say this? The stat was every time he's ever played for the belt, he won.
And every time he's taken the belt, he's defended it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying he's never lost a chance at the if he's the challenger,
he's never lost.
He's never lost as the number one contender. And I want Roca to finally defend that damn belt so I can stop holding it against him. Because I do hold it against him. He talks about how he's one of the best players ever, and he has so I don't want Merle to play him right away.
See, the problem is, like, we all want Roca to eventually, like, play Dan for the belt, but we also want Dan to beat Adam Collins and become the Movie Trivia Schmodown's first 5-time Movie Trivia Schmodown champion, or we want Adam Collins to retain because that will be Dan's first time not winning as the challenger, and also corruption is the best faction, and we will reign supreme in the end. So Collins will defeat Dan Merle.
That's what Full Skill brought up. Merle's never lost twice to anyone who's defeated him.
Yep, and Roca's defeated him somehow.
And so's Collins. So next week's pay-per-view is gonna be...
I can't believe that's next week. I don't even want to watch. Like, I'm so high-strung about it. About Chuck Norris versus Mr. T, man. Like, this is an unmovable object, the unstoppable force. Holy
imagine how I feel. That's the night before WrestleMania.
What's WrestleMania? Is that like a show?
It's just, the whole thing, the Spectacular was...
Is that a trivia match?
Oh,
but I mean, like, next week is nuts. You as a fan of both wrestling and this, you've got night 1 of the Hall of Fame on Wednesday, night 2 of the Hall of Fame on Thursday. You got Collins Merle 2 on Friday, and you got night 1 of WrestleMania on Saturday and night 2 of WrestleMania on Sunday. Like,
and don't forget all the other Schmodown matches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's
there's
Yeah,
3
first
other
class.
Showdown matches. There's going to be 2 live Showdown Night in Canada's. All of that.
I love Harloff for giving us all this, but he doesn't have to give us this much, man.
He's
Like,
trying to
it's so much to watch.
He's trying to kill us. He wants us to
Yeah, he's
go
trying-
away so he can bring up the new crop of reactors. Really, is what it
Well,
is.
and he's like, okay, guys, so you'll watch every match? And we're like, yeah. And he's like, we'll see.
Yeah.
Like, bring it on.
Just think when we finally get out of this quarantine, how hard that is going to be to keep up with that.
He's gonna do 14-hour freaking film days every like
Oh,
2 to 3 times a week. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I agree.
see, I think the
I
current
saw your report earlier too.
I think the current way they're doing it is they're only doing one film day, but they're doing one every week. So
Yeah.
it's
That
kind
was
of
cool.
a 1 week turnover, kind of like some animated television shows are made.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what I hear though, the matches were filmed quite a while ago.
Some of them are, but some of them are
Except for the
filmed
live
very
matches.
close to the thing, and that's Christian was saying last year, as they were doing that at the beginning of the pandemic, that he kind of prefers it to be done in a churning out fashion rather than doing 14 matches on one day.
Yeah, God, that would suck. But we know when
Well-
he finally gets in his own studio, that's not going to happen.
Think about what Ellis or whoever's sitting on, like, Ellis can sit and do that many matches. Like, I would, like, let alone the players. The players are there for one, but if you're doing 14 matches in a day, you're like, I don't want to keep asking questions. Like, he's still quipping and making jokes, like, oh, he's an actual treasure.
Source sitting here for an hour. I can't imagine doing 14-hour days like that.
Yeah, I'm already sick
right.
of you guys.
Yeah.
Not even.
And on that note,
Wait, throw Dave's comment up.
Yeah, I did. I know. I read it earlier too, and just for that, this is gonna be the last time you do ever see Daniel on the show, because now that he's onto us, the end is near. So, where can everybody find you before we put you in your shallow grave, Daniel?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I can be found not for long on Twitter at avengers_SOTN. You can find that on the bottom here. And I could be found on our Facebook page and all over the place under the name Schmoes of the North, and also on my own podcast at the BTVS Pod, which is the best TV show podcast, where I sit down with a guest and talk about their favorite TV show and candidate for best TV show. And we just talk about TV for an hour, and it's really fun. And well, yes, now that my life is threatened, I'll just get through the rest of my plug as quickly as possible, and I guess I'll kick it over to Taco.
Yes, Taco. And what is your preferred way to dispose of the body?
Oh my God, we'll save that for after this video. I work in a factory, man. Like, I got ways. We got a mud ditch that's 20 feet deep, and it gets cleaned out every 15 years. You'll be fine. So anyways, before we put Daniel in cement shoes, I would love to do your freaking podcast. Come on, hit me up. Let's talk about The Wire.
Absolutely.
But besides that place, hopefully one time soon, I'm actually you can't find me anywhere. I'm just a ghost. I do have an Instagram. I am a fine artist. I do really dark paintings with really bright colors at Mark Taco Face on Instagram. I use acrylic, no paintbrushes, right on the wood. And that's it. You'll find me on Facebook with my name. Just hit me up. Pretend to be my friend.
This one go in terms murder. You're not wrong, Dave. And just so you know, you won't see it coming. You won't know when. You won't know how. Anyways, you can underscore that.
We'll do this Italian way, man. We're gonna invite you over as like a friend, like as a sit down.
Yeah.
And then somebody's just gonna come up behind you, and your last thoughts like, man, this is what they give us, like cheap beer.
And but that's we're gonna go Tommy on you and Goodfellas. But anyways, you can find,
okay.
find me at soda
Literally, if the Schmominati hasn't gotten me yet, nobody is gonna get to me. I'm basically unfindable.
The Schmominati just doesn't want to go to Canada.
Yeah. Hey, No, in all honesty, we're just bugging Daniel. We do love him. But you can find me over at soda_the_saxman on Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on all the shows on here, as well as mine and Dave's new show, Canadian Comic Book Corner. Episode 2 is going to be coming up pretty quick, so keep an eye out for that. You can also find me over my other channel, Media Sweaties Network, where I am on 3 different shows on there. I'm on Get Sweaty, which unfortunately I won't be on tomorrow morning because I got to work. There's also Recap in the Past, where myself and Ben break down seasons of our favorite TV shows. We are at the end of How I Met Your Mother. This week, we're having the big series recap with a few special guests, so definitely check that one out. And, of course, Shooting the Breeze, where me and Ben just sit down and talk to our friends about the internet. So, with that being said, on behalf of myself, Ghost Taco, and the man on the run, Daniel, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Don't forget, everybody, smash cancer.